Howdy folks, welcome back to the channel, and this will be the completion of the May-June 1942 term. We will be starting out with the 10th impulse, which is the Soviets' impulse. And the first thing for them to do is roll to see what the weather is. So we'll make a weather roll. See what we get for that. We got a 1. May-June. Oh no, things just took a turn for the worst. Okay, a weather roll of 1 in May-June. Let's take a look at that. If I can get the... There we go. I mean, the Soviets are very happy about this. That's a good deal for them. So we're going to have snow in the Arctic. We're going to have storm in the North Temperate, rain in the Mediterranean, storm in North Monsoon, storm in South Monsoon, and storm in South Temperate. The weather roll will have a +2 for the next set of impulses, and the impulse marker will move up 2. So I will mark that down on the weather chart and come back in a few seconds and see what the Soviets are going to do. Okay, the Soviets will be taking a land impulse. Now, snow in the Arctic, which is above this blue line right here, so it's this area up and through here. It's not going to affect movement, but it will affect combat. That doesn't include winterized units. I'm going to take a look and see what the Soviets might want to do here. They might actually have an attack or two, so I'll be back in a second. Okay, we have one potential attack for the Russians. But first, we have a potential ground strike right here. We have an escorted bomber. It's going in for a ground strike, and I think the Germans will intercept that bomber. Or at least they'll try. They do have a bomber here. We will intercept, so we will have a air battle. Air battle between the Russians and the Germans. So we're going to have a +1, -1. The Germans roll first. They are on the -1 column. Alright, so the Germans roll first on -1, and 9 is never a good roll. 9 on the -1 is... Attacker clears through any one bomber. So the bomber gets through. The Russians get to respond to the Germans. Oh, they roll a 20. I think that's a dead German aircraft. AX. Yep, so the Russians just blew a German air unit out of the air, and the pilot is killed as well. So he is quite dead. That air unit is liable to get scrapped. And the bomber goes through, and he's going to try to ground strike. So we have a 3 in the snow is halved, so it'll be a 1.5, which rounds to 2. And the Russians do indeed flip that German unit. So he's going to go home and land. Oh, is that the right one? Yeah, that's the right one. Actually, I think he came from here. Okay, and then this guy is still here. No, he's not flipped over. He is now. And that's a good attack. Okay, now, the Russians have to decide if they're going to throw in HQ support. I think they will. So this guy is going to throw in the support, and the Germans are going to counter with von Bock. Because they kind of have to. So we have a 4-1 +1. I don't think the Germans want to throw in any air support. 2, it's 1 point. It's not going to make a difference. Alright, 4-1 +1 for the Russians. Let's see what we get. It's going to be on the no armor involved here, so this will be on the assault table. 4-1 +1, and that is a 6. That becomes a 7. The 7 is asterisk 1S. So the German unit will be destroyed. Yeah, messing up the Germans big time over here. And half the Russian units will remain face up. So I think, let's see. I think that militia can go face down, and the rest of the Russian units will remain face up. Now, do we occupy the hex? We have July, August coming up, and there's not going to be any snow in July, August. Will this disconfigure the German line too much? I think we will for now. I think we will occupy the hex. I think we won't, because these units are all face down. The Germans can get an attack in on it. I don't want to lose any units. However, there is a possibility for a guards upgrade here, so we'll keep that in mind. I will dig those units out after the Russians finish their turn and see if they're going to have any units to possibly upgrade. I don't think there are any attacks other than that one. So I think that is it for the Russians' turn. The communists, the Chinese communists are not moving anything. They're good where they are. And what they've moved has already been flipped over, so there's really nothing else to move at this point. And I think we will move on to the democracies and see what they're going to do. Okay, I just did the democracies impulse. The British didn't do very much at all. They moved the headquarters over towards Palestine and the desert. Alexander, he moved over this way because the desert, it's rain in the Mediterranean, but in the desert it's considered clear. So he was able to move over to here. Oh, he only has 2 movement points. Okay, so he's there. And that was pretty much all they did. India, they didn't do too much in India. It's basically the storm is going to shut everything down in Asia, so they're kind of good with what it is right now there. The Americans sailed another couple of ships out into the Atlantic, help with any possible raiding by the Germans. All the U-boats are back in Brest, and they're all aborted, turned over. So that was the end of that. I think that's about it for the democracies. The only thing they have to do is roll to see if they end the turn. Now this will be a 1. So far the communists and the democracies have had pretty, well, the communists anyways, have had pretty good die rolls. Let's see if the democracies end the turn. That is a 10, so the turn does not end. We will move to the fascists. And we'll have to take a look to see if they're going to do anything. I'm pretty sure the Japanese are not going to do anything, simply because whatever they do is just going to flip their units over. They might move 1 unit. I think they will. Over here, I'll show you. They have these 2 units sitting in Rangoon. And I think they're just going to move 1 unit. It's going to flip them over. That's okay. And they're going to capture that oil in Rangoon, in Burma. That oil resource. I think that is all they're going to do. And that is the free oil-dependent unit they can move for this impulse. And I believe that is it for the Japanese. Oh no, they have a second unit they want to move. They want to move this guy here and capture that resource in Malaya. So now they have captured 2 resources there. I gotta take a look at the Italians. I don't really think they're going to do anything because the 1 hex that they can attack possibly attack is this one right here, and it's a clear hex, and it's a city hex, and it's raining. So I don't really think they're going to be able to manage that. I don't even think I have to do the calculation. The Germans, I'm going to have to think about that for a little bit. I mean, they could send the fleet out. That's a possibility for them. I got to take a look at that and see if that's what they want to do or not, because the North Temperate Zone is storm. So air power won't count at all. It'll be a surface engagement. Alright, let me do the calculations and I'll figure out if they're going to do, if the Germans are going to do. I don't think they're going to, because they have a hole to patch up there in Russia. But I think the Germans are just going to take a land action. And I'll do that, and I'll be back in a second to see if they're going to end the turn, because they have to roll to end the turn at the end of the impulse. Germany has decided to give it a go, so we're going to roll some search dice and see what happens in the Bay of Biscay. Now, because of the storm, the air units, which is this right here, are not going to participate, or they don't affect the search rolls. So a 5 and a 4. I don't think anybody found anybody, because the, well, that unit right there, no, I have to add +1 because of the storm for search rolls. So nothing happened. So we got a 5 and a 4. The Commonwealth rolled a 4. The Germans rolled a 5. You add +1 for the storm. So that's a 5 and a 6. Air doesn't count, so nobody found anything. And I think that's it for the fascist impulse. Roll a die to see if they end the turn. We're at a 2 right now. And I rolled a 6. So the turn will continue. We're on impulse number 16. And the communists have to roll for weather. Well, I can't roll a 1, but they would be happy with another 1. Let's see what they get. Well, they got a 5, and they're going to add 2 to that. That's a 7. A 7 is fair weather everywhere. The impulse marker moves up 1. Fair weather everywhere. There's no modifier to the die roll for the next set of impulses. And we're going to go take a look and see what the Russians might want to do over in wonderful Soviet Russia. Well, we can get rid of this die. We don't need that anymore. I don't think they're going to do anything. I think they're kind of okay with the way things are right now. They're obviously going to take a land impulse. The only thing they're concerned about is down here. This is kind of bowed out pretty badly. And the Germans have definitely Germans have definitely got some strength in through here, but as the Soviets, they really don't want to weaken up here too much. I think there's a couple units I could possibly strip out and send them down south. I think we will send this cav unit down south. Oh, both of these cav units. 4, 5. He's going to stay there. Oh yeah, we can definitely send this one. 6. I think that's probably all we really want to do. Don't want to completely denude the line up here. I think we're okay with that. And I think that's probably going to do it. The Communist Chinese are they're looking good where they are, so we're just going to leave them. And I think that's going to be about it for the Soviets. So we will move on to the democracies. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We have to roll to see if the Soviets end the turn. And we are looking for a 3. And a 9 is not a 3. So we will continue to the democracies. Now the democracies could all pass, and that would give the roll at a 4. 40% chance of ending the turn. Is there anything really critical that the democracies have to do? I mean, we could try to go get the German fleet. That's a definite thing we can do. Let's go take a look over here. We can bring the Med fleet up. I think we're going to do that. I think we will bring the Med fleet up. And it's not a very big fleet, but it is. It's actually ABDA. But it does have, it's got a bunch of cruisers. It's got a couple battleships and a carrier. So let's bring the Med fleet up and do some search die rolls. Now let's see. I think we're going to end up in the 2 box. Okay, however, we have to let the Germans do intercept naval air. They can do that. That's half their range. That's going to be 1. I gotta go figure this out. Okay, the Germans have flown out their naval air interception. This is at half range for them. So roll some dice and see if anybody finds anybody else. Well, that's not good for the Commonwealth. We got a 1 for the fascists and an 8 for the Commonwealth. So all the fascist units are going to be included. And it's going to be basically against any one Commonwealth fleet or more that the fascists choose to engage. So I got to figure this out. I got to figure out the surprise points, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, the Germans have chosen an air to sea. We have, well, can't really see it from here, but there we go. All right. This is the German bomber stream. I'm going to leave it like this so I don't lose the places where they are in the sea boxes. And this fighter is actually in a 1 sea box. So we got 2 fighters and 4 bombers. And the Commonwealth has 3 fighters and 1 bomber. I'm not really hoping too much. I just want to survive this. So this is up to the Commonwealth. So the Germans will roll first. We have 6.4 against 4.5. That's going to be +2 -2. So the Germans will roll first on the +2 column. And they roll not bad. That is a excuse me. My +2 column. 7. Attacker aborts defender's front fighter or front bomber. So we're going to abort their front fighter. So he will be aborted. And now the Commonwealth rolls. And they get a 13 on the -2 chart. 13 is attacker clears through any 1 bomber. So they will clear through, I guess, the Condor. That one will be cleared through. And then we go for round 2. Now this is going to be a little bit different because we've got 3.2 against 6.4. It's going to be +3, -3. I think it's the same chart. No, it's one worse. So the Germans will roll first. And they roll a 10 on the +3. The 10 is attacker clears through any one bomber. That's AC. Attacker, AC, AC, AC. Attacker clears through any one defending bomber. So the defending bomber, the Commonwealth bomber, is actually going to get through. That's amazing. And then for the Commonwealth, they're going to roll on the -3. And a 6 is not a bad roll on the -3. On the -3, defender abort. Defender aborts own front fighter or front bomber. The Germans are gonna abort their front fighter. And I think we're gonna go for round 3. It's actually kind of turned in favor of the Commonwealth a little bit. Germans roll first. And that is an 18. No, oh, I gotta recalculate the odds. It looks like it's gonna be even up. 18 is DX. DX. Defender destroys own front fighter or front bomber. Well, they got their bomber got cleared, so he's gonna get destroyed. Now, let me check, make sure that is 18. Oh, he's dead. Pilot's dead. So that pilot is dead. So I'm going to put him with the dead German planes. And the Commonwealth gets to roll in reply. And they roll an 11. Defender clears through another bomber. So we're going to clear through... we'll clear through the Ju-88s there. These guys. So they will make it. And I don't think we're going to roll anymore. I think the Commonwealth is just going to abort at this point. It's going to be +2, -2. +2. You know what? We're going to keep going. Maybe we'll shoot down one of these German bombers. So the Germans roll first on the +2. Yeah, on +2 for a 10 is attacker clears through any defending bombers, so it doesn't matter. And the Commonwealth rolls. They roll a whopping 13, and that's on the -2. Attacker clears through any one defending bomber, so another German bomber gets through. And we'll go one more round. Maybe we can clean out something. The Germans will be rolling first. And they roll a 13 on the +2. And defender aborts. So the last Commonwealth fighter will be aborted. But they do get to shoot back. And they rolled the same thing, a 13. It's on the -2. Attacker clears through. Okay, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because the combat is over. The air combat is over, anyways. Now we're gonna go to the naval combat, and let's see. Let's figure this out. Oh, the attacking aircraft have to survive the anti-aircraft fire first. And we have 30 anti-aircraft points. However, we do have 11 surprise points. So, that total of 4 planes, 30 anti-aircraft. Yeah, this British fleet is pretty big. It's going to be the highest of 3 dice. I I could shift it down 1. It'll be the lowest 2 dice out of 4. Shift it down 2, lowest 2 dice out of, shift it down 3. And I want to go up here. Yeah, I think we're going to shift it down 3, which is going to be the lowest 2 dice out of 6. So I'm going to roll 6 dice, and it's going to be the lowest 2. I don't have any more dice. I should have brought some more dice. Alright, lowest 2. So we got a 1 and a 2 out of the first 4. And the next 2 is a 5 and a 9. So the lowest 2 obviously going to be the 1 and the 2. That's 3 points for anti-aircraft. I don't really think that does anything. Anti-aircraft, where are you? Okay, each 10 points destroys or 1 other bomber, or abort 1 other bomber. Aborts 1 air-to-sea factor. So, aborts 3 air-to-sea factors. So that leaves us with 7 air-to-sea factors against 27 ships. 27 ships. 7 air-to-sea. We're going to shift it over the remaining 2. So it's going to be 2 sunk, 2 damaged, and 3 aborted. 2 sunk, 2 damaged, 3 aborted. So we got 2 sunk, 2 damaged, 2 aborted. Alright, now I usually allow what I do is I go back and forth with each side. The rules say something different, but I just do that kind of for like player balance, sort of. I guess we're going to take the Illustrious. I'll try and sink that one first. Well, that's going to require, okay, and the Germans will go for, that's a 6. And it is damaged. Now the Commonwealth will pick one. I think they're going to go for their battleships because they're most likely to survive. I think we'll go with the Ramillies. That's a 3. That's the second sunk. Oh my God, it actually got sunk. I didn't expect that. Now we have a damage. So we're gonna go on the Illustrious again. Now this is the 6 now becomes a 7 because it's already damaged. And it's damaged. It's aborted now. So it's boarded. So the British will go for a damage. We'll go over the Hood. The Hood. That's a 3. And it is aborted as well, so it's going to be sent back. And then we got 2 aborts. The Germans will abort the Formidable, or the Glorious rather. It is indeed aborted. The 3, he goes away. I think he had a carrier plane on him, didn't he? I think so. Alright, and then the last abort will be on the, this is the Queen Elizabeth. No, let's not take another battleship. Let's go with a light cruiser. That'll be an abort. Oh no, it's not aborted. It's half aborted. So that's going to stay with the fleet. Okay. So that is the end of the Germans' turn. Now we have the Commonwealth has 1 plane coming in for a strike with 3 points. I got to go add up the anti-aircraft for the Germans and see what they have. Okay, the Germans have 41 points of anti-aircraft. And that's going to be against 1 plane. So we got 5 dice, the lowest 2. Lowest 2 of 5 dice. So again, we'll roll 5 dice. I only have 4, so I have to roll 4 at a time, I guess. I don't want to scatter things everywhere. Okay, so the lowest 2 out of 5 dice. I got a 1. And then we roll 1 more. Actually, I've got a 1 and a 5 are the lowest so far. That's another 5. So a 1 and a 5 is 6. That will be a 6. I think 1 CVP is destroyed. Yep, remaining 5 points, destroy 1 CVP or abort 1 other bomber. So that's going to destroy that bomber. And that's the end of that. Now we have to decide if, or the Commonwealth has to decide if, oh no, I'm sorry, the Commonwealth has to decide if they're going to continue here or they're going to abort and run away. Because the Germans still have lots of firepower available, and the Commonwealth just got smoked. A couple of ships, most of their, that's an aborted, most of their air power is gone. Don't think we want to abort. I think we want to go again. Let's try it. What's the worst that can happen, right? Lose a few more ships. Alright, try again. Oh, God. That's bad. A 1 and a 9. Again. The poor Commonwealth. I gotta figure this out. Okay, the Germans, who have 12 surprise points, are going to pick a air to sea, which is the default. You don't have to spend surprise points for that. There will be no air-to-air combat because the Commonwealth doesn't have any fighters left. And we have 4 German bombers. The Commonwealth has 23 AA points. And they have, I think we're going to shift 4 columns over. So it's going to be the lowest 1 out of 3 dice. Lowest 1 out of 3 dice. Let's see what we get. Well, that's 8, 9, and a 1. So we got a 1-pointer. Now let's see. 1 point. I think that aborts 1 air to sea factor. Abort 1 air to sea factor. Okay, so the AA losses are going to abort 1 air to sea factor, so that's going to leave us with 9 air to sea factors. We have 2 column shifts. There are 1, 2, 4. There are 23 ships now. And we got to update that. We got 23 ships. Air to sea. 8 to 10 column. I'm going to shift over 2. That's 3 sunks and 2 damages. 3 sunks and 2 damages. I think the Commonwealth is probably just going to leave after this. 3 sunks, huh? Well, the Germans will pick first, and they're going to pick the carrier Formidable. And she is a 6. She is I just scattered a whole bunch of counters. Alright, Formidable. See how you do. Now we rolled a 2. Yeah, so that's going to be sunk. I do believe the carrier plane goes down with it. Because it was an aborted plane on top of the carrier. Now the Commonwealth gets to pick a sunk. Now, we're going to take this light cruiser right here. What is that? The Calypso? Probably a World War I light cruiser. And we'll roll a die for that. That's an 8. I rolled a 2. He is sunk. And the last sunk, the Germans are going to pick the Courageous. That's the last Commonwealth carrier. Things are not looking good for the Commonwealth. And that's going to be a 7. And a 1 does indeed sink that. And then we have 2 damages. Well, I almost lost my camera again. I keep hitting it. Keep hitting the thing and it keeps falling. Top heavy, that's why. Alright, we're going to pick the 2 damages. So, I guess we'll pick another light cruiser. They're pretty easy to rebuild. That's an 8. And it's damaged. Away she goes to the damage pool. And let's see. The last damage. Oh, pick the Queen Elizabeth. I'd love to send that to the damage pool. Queen Elizabeth. Oh, no, she's only aborted. Only aborted. So she'll go and join the Glorious and the Hood in the aborted pool over here. And that is the end of that round of naval combat. Now, it's up to both sides to decide whether or not they want to abort. And I think the Commonwealth has had enough for one turn, and they are going to abort. The German subs are all aborted, so the Commonwealth does not have to worry about that. So I think they're going to abort. They took a pretty good shellacking right there. And go back down here. They thought they could get something going, but apparently not. And that is going to leave the Germans in control of the Bay of Biscay. Such as it is. One more round, or the Germans might have went surface. Alright, that's the end of the democracy's turn. I think they're going to roll to see if they end the turn. The turn will end on a 3. They're praying and hoping that's what they get. And they got a 2. Turn is over. Okay. That's going to adjust the communist marker down 1. I mean, the communists are perfectly happy with that. The fascists didn't get a chance to blow a hole in their line over there, so they're okay with that. Okay, I got. Let's roll for partisans. That's the next thing we have to do. And then we got to roll for U.S. entry. Really going to be kind of interesting. Let's roll for partisans. Partisan table gets to 2. Norway, UK, Hungary, Iraq. Iraq is an ally. Yugoslavia. Yugoslavia is a 9. -6 units garrisoning Yugoslavia. That's a 3. Let's see what we get. 4 doesn't do it. Baltic states. Baltic states, I don't even know if they have a partisan value. They don't. Why would they put that in there? Australia, USA, China. Let's see what China has. There's actually no place to put a partisan, but that's not in the zone of control, so that's going to be the end of that. And I'm going to do production, and I'll come back and show you what production looks like, and then I'll get this turn packed up and uploaded. Okay, let's not forget to do U.S. entry. War with a Democrat. First, we'll start out by rolling for... Well, let's roll for the Japanese. They did not capture any Chinese cities this turn, so there's only 1 roll. So that's a 3. That's 2 other fascists at war with the Democrats, so that makes it a 5. And we're going to add 4 more to that, which brings it to a 9. So that's going to be a +2 for Japan. Yeah, for Japan. Getting up there. All right, now for Germany. That's a 6. There's 2 others at war, so that makes it an 8. Germany has been at war since 39. It's going to be a +2. They haven't quite been to war for 3 years, so it's going to be a +2. So that's a 10. And a 10 gives us a +3 for the Germans. And finally, the Italians. Italians roll a 9. You got +2 for the other 2 fascists at war with the Democrat. That makes it an 11. They went to war in 40. And 2, so that's going to be a 13. The Italians get a +4. As you can see, the U.S. entry, you can't keep America out of the war forever. It's just the way it is. Alright, I'll come back with a summary of the production, and then we'll go from there. As you can see, production is definitely ramping up, and I put the camera on my notes. Alright. Okay, just to specify, these ships up here are damaged ships that will be going back on the wheel. I almost called it a spiral. Alright, so production. Production was pretty high this turn, for at least the Germans anyways. They produced 50, started with 47, and spent 51. Yeah, they're putting out some troops. Japan produced 25, started with 12, and spent 13. Italy produced 16, started with 13, spent 12. The Soviet Union produced 38. She got 2 Lend-Lease from the United States and 1 cadre. She started with 34 and spent 35. The Commonwealth produced 22, started with 16 and spent 22. The U.S. produced 24. Started with 13 and spent 26. The Chinese produced 9, started with 0 and didn't spend anything. And the Free French produced 2, started with -7 and spent 2 on this little DE unit, which I'm sure the Commonwealth will be more than happy to use to their own purposes. And that will wrap up production for this turn. We'll get these on the wheel, and thanks for watching. Subscribe and like, share. I appreciate it all, and we'll see you soon.